Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome to the PhysioBRAIN channel. This is Professor Adriano, and today we're going to talk about how studying can benefit our cognition and help prevent the onset of dementias, including Alzheimer's disease. Stay with me and don't miss these tips. And you already know what to do. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, like the video, and share it with anyone you think needs to know this information. So guys, in the last 2 or 3 previous videos, we talked about dementias and the associated risk factors, okay? And now we're going to start talking specifically about each one of them and how to improve, how to prevent, how to work on prevention and treatment of these risk factors. And today we're going to talk about low educational level, which is one of the main factors associated with the onset of dementias, okay? With significant decline in cognitive functions. And why is low educational level associated? Because usually people who have studied less, people who had little access, little opportunity to study, their brains haven't been exercised in various ways, haven't been worked on, the many possibilities that can be stimulated in our brains. There are, specific regions that help us, that are more specialized for calculations. There are regions more specific for spatial orientation, and so on. And when we don't stimulate them, all these areas, we have fewer possibilities. Our brain is less stimulated than it could be. And when we get older, naturally we start losing connections, we start losing the number of neurons, right? And those neurons that aren't stimulated, that are less exercised, they end up being lost. And when they haven't formed, right, when not many neurons or new connections have been formed, this makes it easier for cognitive decline to happen. That's why a low level of education, a low level of instruction or study is associated with the onset of dementia, okay? So what is the idea of the researchers, the specialists? The idea is at the level of prevention to increase the level of education globally, right? To promote greater opportunities for people to study, to have access to education, whether it's formal education or specific training in a certain area, right? Specific courses. And in the case of people who already have some kind of cognitive impairment, who already have established dementia, to give these people more opportunities, not for formal education, but for specific tasks related, for example, to calculation, specific tasks related to memory, or specific tasks related to some other area, right? Like general knowledge, for example. In my physical therapy sessions, in my treatments with patients, I always like to work on memory activities, mathematical calculation activities, right? Calculations that the person needs to do in their head without needing paper and pen or a calculator, simple calculations, but always increasing in complexity, always increasing in difficulty to stimulate them, and if the person doesn't like numbers or finds them very difficult, you can work with regions, right? For example, geographic activities, having the person remember the names of nearby cities, right? States, capitals, countries, in short. The possibilities are endless in this regard. You can work in many different ways, okay? So in general, prevention is the best path, as we always like to remind and emphasize, okay? Prevention is the best path, whether through efforts to provide more education to the population as a whole, or in cases where there are already established changes or deficits, by increasing the possibilities and creating strategies, whether in small groups, large groups, or individual sessions, so that the person has activities involving study, problem solving, mathematical calculations, in short, some intervention or strategy that requires them to learn something new, to study in some way, right? To acquire some new learning, to learn new information, a new skill, okay? So basically the idea of increasing the population's knowledge is just that, mainly through prevention, okay? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And share it with anyone you think needs this information, with anyone who will benefit from this video. Thanks a hug, and I'll see you in the next videos.